welcome back. Drugs are bad. Well, I mean, that's what they always told us as kids, remember? Whether it be through school programs, PSAs, even video games. You remember that winners don't do drugs thing before you pop in a quarter to play Ninja Turtles, right? Well, one game that took the motif one step further was the arcade classic Narc. This gun-toting blast fest was such a smash that it was ported to many consoles, one of them being the NES. But as usual, I'm the Xbox guy. So I think I'll let my good buddy Matt talk about the NES version this time. Matt, what do you got to say about it?
Jay, what do you want? I can't, man. I'm busy right now trying to defend Gotcha. I mean, nobody else is going to defend that. LJ and Defender and all, it's my duty. It's my... Oh, come on. Jay, they're taking the flag. Oh, come on, man. Get somebody else to do it.
Oh, well... Okay, who can I get to talk about the NES version? Who else do I know that plays NES games and nothing but them?
Hello, Dolly Popka. Did I hear you mention some NES talk? Oh, well, I could be the one to talk about Narc on NES.
Oh, it's that Wii guy fella. Alright, yeah, I guess you could give it a shot. Go for it.
Really? You really mean it? Oh, joyous day. Thank you very much, Dolly Popka. Well, I guess without further hesitation, let's load up some drug crime fighting on Narc and play the game.
So here it is, the NES version of Narc, published by Acclaim in 1990. Obviously being a port of the infamous arcade game by Williams, which was made by designer Eugene Jarvis and programmer George Petro, and was truly one of the first video games targeted to kids and teens with the message of do not use drugs, as well as being a center of controversy due to its high ultra-violence, where your main objective is to confiscate money and drugs, and whether it be arrest or kill various drug offenders and take down the main bad guy, Mr. Big. No, not that Mr. Big, this one. This task is handled by our main characters, Max Force and Hitman. Obviously, if you play single player, you are Max Force, and are in charge of outing massive amounts of justice. Yeah! So as you come barreling into the first stage, you will be able to come to grips with the controls. This version retaining the same run and gun action of the original, but obviously had to be stripped down due to the use of only two main buttons. Holding down the A button will allow you to shoot rapid amounts of justice bullets, and double tapping the A button causes you to shoot missiles. Damn! While holding down B allows you to crouch, and double tapping B causes you to jump, which can be useful in avoiding enemy fire. And you must traverse 9 different sections of the game, taking down them dirty drug dealers, collecting various amounts of baggies and money for points, and arresting these felons. And it is as simple and mindlessly fun as that. While you have a health meter, this game can be a bit tough or cheap if you don't know the right tips. Now, shooting bad guys with your gun will have them randomly drop drugs, money, or bullet and missile ammo. Most of the standard bad dudes can be taken down with one bullet, while some require a rapid amount of bullets in the face, or just blowing them away with your missiles to take care of those bullet sponges. Some enemies can be really annoying to deal with, such as Kinky Pinky the Clown, the Dumpster Man, and the most annoying of all, Hypo Man. And watch out for his hypodermic needles. Ah, God!
Jeez. Oh man, Payhub is real. Oh god, I think I can taste the colors. Oh man.
And most importantly, always arrest bad dudes to fill up your bus numbers, as they allocate the most amount of points every time you clear a level, and can be really helpful in gaining your max amount of 5 lives. I recommend areas and levels that don't always have a lot of bad guys charging at you. The third area, the bridge, being the most beneficial to do this in, and can also help you gain more bullets and missiles by driving your badass vehicle to run over baddies. Other than getting to ride in your hot rod, most of the game retains the same run and gun action, which is the main focus of the game, and what encompasses most of the general gameplay of Narc, all the way until you get to fight the gross, huge head of Mr. Big, and his even creepier skull form. Yikes!
Aside from keeping the gameplay experience as faithful to the arcade game in this version, the other aspects of this game are done quite well too.
Being that this version was developed by Rare, we have the typical NES Rare traits. Graphically, the game does look good, and has that Rare graphical style, though it might not be as up to par as other Rare games of the past or even around this time. probably due to keeping the look as authentic to the arcade version as possible. And while the blood and violent nature of the gameplay from the arcade version had to be toned down due to Nintendo of America's policies, it's a wonder we still got to be able to blow up the bad guys in all its 8-bit pixely gory wonder. And of course, being rare, we have David Wise on the fantastic soundtrack, being arrangements of the original tracks from the arcade by Brian L. Schmidt. It is fairly common that David Wise is credited as the sole composer for the game, when in fact, he was just the arranger. But regardless, he still makes his 8-bit arrangement and compositions from the original Narc version sound fantastic on the 8-bit hardware, which is also helped by the sound driver provided by Mark Betteridge, who improved on the original sound driver used in early Rare titles by Chris Stamper. So you know when you got a Rare developed title, you're going to get some high quality tunes coming your way.
But being an arcade port, in the end your accomplishments come down to the high score and amount of points you get, which after defeating Mr. Skeletor, you're awarded for your efforts in gold bars, which for the most part, on an NES game, we know that.
The points don't matter.
Unless you're competing for high scores with a buddy with 2 players, which I would have had 2-player footage, but I don't have anyone to do that with. And that was the NES version of Narc. Is it an inferior port? Not exactly. It may not be able to capture the same graphical prowess or impact of the arcade version, but that's to be expected with NES ports of arcade titles, as well as having a short playtime as well. But being able to retain the same fun, silly gameplay with colorful visuals, cheap pickup price, and an awesome soundtrack by David Wise, it is totally worth your time, especially if you want to get down on some 2-player co-op action. So, that's all I have to say about Narc on NES. And this is the Wii Guy, telling you all to stay in school, drink your milk, and of course, play the game. So back to you, Dolly Popka. Thank you for allowing me to gush some NES nerdism.
Well, thanks for that, Nico. You're like an informative squirrel that's on the drugs that this game warns you not to take. Well, many years after Narc was released, Midway decided to revisit this near-forgotten property with a remake, a trend they seem to be doing with a few of their classic titles around that time, resulting in this, Narc 2005. Now, let's take a look at this retelling and see if it's collection-worthy today on Viridian Flashback.
Instead of continuing the story of the original protagonists like it was planned, this new Narc is played from the perspective of 2 new characters, Officer Jack Frasinski, played by veteran actor Michael Madsen, and DEA agent Marcus Hill, played by the 90s Kevin Hart, Bill Bellamy. These 2 former partners are tasked to take down the distribution of a new powerful narcotic called Liquid Soul. No, not Soul Glow, Liquid Soul. Anywho, their journey will lead them down a dark path that they may not return from.
I'll kill you all! I'll kill you all!
So the story opts for a more serious tone than the original. Well, that's not really hard when you're coming from a game where the main characters are dressed in colored riot gear and are named Max Force and Hitman. Even so, the story for Narc 05 still feels a little too serious for the tone. So let's see if the gameplay is just as serious.
Narc is a third-person action game, almost like a GTA clone, but with a smaller playfield, so no vehicles for you. You have your main missions to complete, but you can also walk around the city busting random crimes by either killing or arresting the perp and confiscating their contraband. What makes Narc different from other games of this genre is what you can do with said contraband. You could turn it into the station like a good cop, or you can sell it to make money to buy weapons. But be careful, as you yourself can get busted and demoted to beat cop, hindering your progress until you prove yourself to get your badge back. You can also take the drugs yourself, giving you certain abilities like weed giving you bullet time or speed for, well, speed.
So wait, you mean to tell me that smoking weed gives you powers?
2 hours later.
Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day.
But don't think you can just keep taking them all the time, as you can get addicted and have to get clean by either going cold turkey or taking protodone. As far as collectibles go, there are packages scattered throughout the 2 cities you visit. Collecting all the packages in New York unlocks the arcade version of Narc, ported from Midway Arcade Treasures 2, while in Hong Kong, you unlock a bonus mission.
The gameplay is a bit watered down from the sandbox mainstays of the time, but it's not too terrible. Plus, the drugs aspect of the game is a little intriguing, seeing if you can fight the temptation of using drugs, I guess. Now, let's wrap things up with presentation.
The graphics for Narc are just The level design is generic and dark, while the character models give off that by-the-numbers look most games of this time had. For audio, the music is a mixture of hip-hop, reggae, and 70s funk, which is an interesting choice. However, in what is probably the weirdest choice I've ever seen in a game, songs are relegated to certain sections of the map, meaning the song will instantly change when you leave and enter another part of the map. Just take a listen.
What's your problem, man?
In terms of voiceover, it's unintentionally funny. Besides Mattson and Bellamy, Ron Perlman makes an appearance as the police chief, and him and Bellamy do an alright job.
Hey, what's going on? I was in the middle of a bust when I... What the hell is he doing here?
Nice going. I got 8 dead cops on my watch, and you picked tonight to take creative license with your badge.
I'm an artist like that.
The DEA is forcing themselves on this case. Your old partner Marcus is the lead agent on the case, and I don't need any problems from either of you.
There won't be. I bet you must be overjoyed. Getting to work with real cops again.
But it's Michael Madsen that had me cracking up. Just listen to him peddling drugs.
Hey, you want some of this? Always a pleasure. You want some shit? Hey, you want to buy some shit? All proceeds go to me starring in Kill Bill 3. Or maybe another Uwe Boll movie. Come on, little doggy.
So that's Narc 05. Is it collection worthy? Well, kind of. It's a goofy little game that isn't meant to be taken as seriously as it lets on, but it might turn away a lot of people because of it. If you do want to pick it up, you'll find it for pretty cheap. I mean, hell, it was $20 new when it came out. Look at these friend prices. Overall, it doesn't improve upon the original, and that's fine. Just grab your controller, turn off your brain, and have some stupid fun. And drugs are bad. Yeah. No. Anyway, this is the Dolly Popka saying, if you want to play retro, smoke that green. Try going green. See you next time.
You want some shit?